All right, so day one of our construction of the Mongol-Hooked Lance. This is my 6-foot pine. It is circular, as you can see. This is going to be our staff of the lance. This is 1-foot piece of rebar. Last night we used a propane torch and hooked this piece of rebar up to our vise, bent it to the shape we want, and I'm going to cut it sometime to what length we want. This is a flat steel stake. I'm gonna use this for our lance head. It's pretty heavy, so right now I'm in the process of weighing the staff and this stake so we can make sure the weapon is balanced. So yeah. Alrighty, time to cut. Alright, so while I'm cutting, let me tell you about how the Mongols used these weapons in warfare. The Mongol cavalry carried these deadly recurved composite short bows of their own invention. The bow was typically made from horn, wood, and sinew bound together using animal glue. These Mongol masterpieces could shoot up to 320 meters, or 350 yards, whereas the traditional English longbow could only shoot 228 meters, or 250 yards. In a typical battle, the Mongols rained down a variety of specialized arrows onto the enemy to allow the cavalry to come through and cut down the survivors with unique hooked lances, like the one I am making. The hook was used to pull men off of their horses. Many of the Mongols' favorite strategies were centered on fear and getting in the enemy's head. For example, they placed dummies on horses to make the enemy think there were more of them than there actually were. Sometimes, they retreated just so they could turn around again and catch their enemies off guard. During the sieges of walled cities and fortified compounds, the Mongols shot flaming arrows, hurled vessels of oil, and fired animals, 100-pound rocks, human corpses, and fiery bombs from mangonels. So now, back to the video. Alright, so I drilled out this hole, and I sanded it down to fit our steel stake. I'll show you the fit here. There it is. So it's not perfectly fit to this thing. So I have these 2 little wood chips right here. I'm gonna jam into the side right here so fit it. And I'm gonna fill it with epoxy, and we're gonna let it dry. And then I'm gonna sand all around the edges so it makes a clean finish. And I'm gonna clean it up, add the hook, sharpen this, and we're all done. All right, so I filled epoxy in on the sides of it, put the fillings in, and right now I'm letting it dry. I viced it up, so it should be good, maximum bond strength for the epoxy. So now I'm waiting for it to dry, so I'm going to, where is it? I'm gonna start sharpening my hook, all right? All right, so to finish up what I was talking about earlier, the mangonel was one of the more inaccurate catapults. It was developed by the Romans and used torsion. Torsion is the tension built up by twisting something. That something in this time period was typically ropes of sinew. While the siege machine wasn't known for its accuracy, the Mongols still managed to perform many destructive feats with it. All right, this is the finished product of our hook. I sanded this down to a point, as you can see here. It took a lot of time, so I decided to make it a little bit shorter than I was going to. But I also sanded down the side so it looked a little more shiny. Okay, so the epoxy is dried, and now we're gonna sand it down to finish it up. All right, day 2 of construction. I just finished sanding all this around so it's smooth, everything's nice and smooth. I sanded this down a little bit to make it shiny. I'm still gonna sharpen it. And I'm gonna wrap this silver cord around this part to make it more secure, make it look cool, a little cooler. And right now, the next step, I'm gonna solder the hook on, sharpen it, make it all look nice, balance it out, and then we'll be done. All right, so I just finished soldering the hook on, and I sharpened this down to a point, as you can see. This is sharp 2. So now all I gotta do if I want, I can put the cord on, but right now I don't think I need to. All right, so here's our finished product. Look at this bad boy. And as you can see here, I wrapped where my hand was gonna be with some leather, and I didn't end up balancing it on this side because couldn't find anything that weighed the same as this part, and this part's pretty heavy.